today we are making a black cat tail for my daughter for Halloween. I found some great tutorials online using a yarn method and taking yarn and brushing it out. I'm actually, at this point, I had it halfway done and I decided that I wasn't happy with how I was doing it, and I changed how I was doing it. And I like the top half a lot better than the bottom half. So I've now untied all the bottom half and I'm working on reconstructing it. So I have my little pile of fluff here that I've untied that I need to retie. Sorry, I'm using a phone and I'm holding it. So there is a single fluff that had been tied on. So that's what they kind of look like. I started out tying groups of 6. What I found is that when you felt the tail, it felt like great big knots in the middle, and I didn't like that. So as it stands now, I have a whole bunch of fluffs already tied on. I've taken, this is down to the tip. This is actually the tip of the tail where I'm doing a 6-strand tail. So up here you can see I have 2 strands, 2 strands, 2 strands. What I'm doing is I'm tying the fluffs on and then kind of working them down as I braid it together. So this is the tail tip. I started out by tying all 6 of these strands together. Then that is a bit longer than the typical strands that I'm tying on. The typical strands right here. This is a typical length. That is tied around my hand once, or wrapped around my hand once rather, and then like cut the loop of them off on one side. And over here I have my bin where I have all of these that I'm working on tying on. I don't know why there's a wire in there, just ignore that. I'm not using it. So this I tied off a little bit longer so that it would have a nice little tail tip. Then I took and made a set that are like wrapped around my hand and my thumb together like that, and cut those off so they're a bit longer. And I'm going to try and put my phone down here so that you can see this. Oops. No. So sorry about that. I don't know if I'll be able to edit that out. It's the same thing. There's the tail tip. Then I just slide those down. And then I took another row and I made them so that they are halfway between the longer ones and the regular length ones, just to blend it all in. And I push that down. Now I'll show you in a minute how I'm doing this. Again, these are already brushed out, so you're not getting to see that. Just, you're going to have to take my word for it and put the pieces together later. Okay, so now what I'm doing is, again, I have all my fluffs pre-tied on each of the strands, and I take it, again, getting my camera set up. Sorry, I'm having to work with these long groups of tufts that are already tied on. Get it straightened out. So I braid it, cross over one side, cross over the other side, and then I take 2 sets of 3, so 6 total strands, but 2 sets of 3, and I push them down. On each of the, oops, sorry. They're a little tangled together. Each of the 3, careful not to let the previous, what happens, and you can see this, is it's kind of grabbed a bit of the fluff from the previous one and it got caught under the knot. So you kind of have to be careful, and when you're sliding them, grab them and pull the fluff out from the knots and slide it down. Okay. So then we cross over, do our braid again, cross over, straighten out all the tops because they get all tangled up. They're long and full of fluffs. Okay, so I did a crossover, and then I slide down 2 sets of 3, again for a total of 6 strands of yarn on each of them. Again, remembering to hold them out. Okay, 1, 2. When they're brushed out, it can be a little bit hard to count your knots, so just be a little careful. Oh, sorry. I really need to get a tripod to do this, I'm sorry. Okay, again, there's the tail. And there's 1, 2. There's another set of 2. See? 1, 2. Okay. And again, cross over the one into the middle, cross over the other side into the middle. And slide 2 more. Get the fluff straightened out. Slide it in. Slide it in. Slide it in. Now, I should point out that I have not straightened these at all yet. My plan is to use either steam or boiling water to straighten them out, and once I figure that out, I will do that part of the video. At this point, I don't have that figured out. So right now, they're kind of frizzy. They look very cottony instead of like hair. Again, this is the first time I've ever done this. When I was looking at the other ones online, I said, I don't have time to sew on all those little fluffs. Let's just try braiding it, as, you know, doing them and braiding them in place, tying them on the strings and braiding them. And it seems to really be working well. The tail looked great before I deconstructed it. It just wasn't blending in that one place where I had changed from tying 3 together, or tying 6 together, to then tying 3 together and pushing 2. I didn't like the way that the big knots felt in the bottom, so I decided to deconstruct it, even though I don't have time, and redo it. So here you have it. I'm braiding it as I go. Thing is, when you stop, you have to kind of keep track of it. It kind of locks in place, so it's not like it's going to fall apart every time you put it down. But there, you can kind of see a little bit longer. Tail tip is a bit longer than the rest. Probably not as much as I would have liked, but I'm probably going to leave this because I don't want to deconstruct it again. Again, I'm running out of time before Halloween. So there you have it. I will work for a while, and when I do something interesting, I'll try and add to the video. Thanks. Bye.